Hello, this is Kalila Foster from The Six of Us. And boy, it has been eons since I've posted anything. And one reason for this is that I have the tendency to aim for perfection. And so in doing so, I end up procrastinating. So I've been waiting to video when the lighting's right, when the house is quiet and when it's clean, when I feel inspired, and when my hair and makeup are done. However, seldom do all these things happen at the same time. So I've just decided to just do it. So today you get me in all my natural glory. So what I will share in this video is basically a descriptive of what we do in our home. And I will say that none of this is prescriptive. This is just what works for us at this time. And so this past weekend, we had the pleasure of hosting family from out of town. And while we were at our home, they complimented Jeff and I on how independent our children are. Their statement had me wondering, like, what is it that we do or that I do that has encouraged their independence? And then I realized, I do nothing. That's what I do. And let me explain. I have a mentor and a friend, and she has 8 children. And she shared with me one of her philosophies. And her philosophy is that as parents, it is our job to work ourselves out of a job. So as parents, it's our job to train each child so that by the time that they're out of our home, they are fully capable of running a household on their own. And so I learned that if I do things for my children that they can do for themselves, I'm honestly like really not helping them at all. I'm actually kind of hurting them. And so I found that if I'm not so quick to solve their problems, they usually come up with pretty creative solutions on their own. So all they needed was time to think it over and the motivation to do it. And so basically, what I do is I just delay. When they bring things to me, I take my time and I kind of delay because oftentimes they end up resolving the problems themselves. And so I'll give you an example. Just yesterday, I was sitting outside working on some homeschool plans for the upcoming year. And my 5-year-old, he came outside and asked me if he could have a snack. So, of course, I could have easily gotten up and went and got him a snack, but instead, I encouraged him to go into the kitchen, look for a snack, and come out and let me know what you find, is what I told him. And so he soon returned with a bag of popcorn from the pantry. And so I then delayed and told him that I would be inside shortly to pop it for him. But he knows how I am. Shortly is not necessarily short. And so instead, he informed me that he could do it himself. I went into, well, make sure when you put the popcorn in, he said, I know. I put it in this direction. And I said, okay. And I said, you know, there's a popcorn button on the microwave. He said, I know, and I can read it because the bag here says popcorn. So I can look at that and I can find the button that says popcorn. And I said, okay, make sure not to pull it out before it finishes. So anyhow, I ended up going inside to see how his progress was. And I will say maybe this is a mom fail, but I saw him wiping his hand when I walked in and I asked him what's wrong. And he said, oh, I think some of the hot air may have hit my hand when I pulled it out the microwave. But he was fine. He wasn't in tears or anything. And he learned. He learned that, and I explained to him as well, when you take the popcorn out of the microwave, be sure to either wear gloves or hold on to the very corner because where that opening is, hot steam comes out. He learned. And so I'm going to tell you that's just one example, but this is what I do. And this approach of delaying has kept me from being a firefighter in my own home. It's kept me from having to put out one fire after the other. It has done a few other things. It has allowed me to use my brain power for more complex issues, the things that the children cannot assist with, like when it comes to financial matters or dealing with contracting a new service provider or things like that. Something else that it gives them is that it is rewarding to the kids when they realize that they're capable of doing something on their own. The home operates much smoother when everyone is doing their part. And I always tell them teamwork makes the dream work. That girlfriend I mentioned earlier, she uses the phrase, many hands make light work. And I love that. And so, last but not least, each of the kids, each time they accomplish a new task independently, guess what? That becomes a task that I can scratch off of my list. And so, the next time that my 5-year-old asks for popcorn, he will be able to confidently and safely pop it for himself. And that's just one more step towards independence.